What's up guys, Matt here coming at you with a quick look at this new Fairrc mod. This is the Way Cool McCue mod from Fairrc. So Fairrc teamed up with McCue and Batrazzi and kind of created this little package that you can pick up for the K5 Blazer. This is the first one of these I've got that was in its own like Fairrc mod box, which is pretty cool. I'm sure this is going to help them keep these things separate from all the other stock trucks once they've modded them. So very cool to see that they've got their own box now. Inside, we basically have our standard sort of K5 or FMS packaging here, but you can see we've got a modded truck. So this is very cool. Something that I really like that they do is these mods. I mean, they've pushed it a little bit farther. You know, we started out just getting the paint jobs and stuff. Now they're teaming up with other companies and getting some upgrades and that sort of thing. And it's really pretty cool what they're doing. So you can see right away, this thing has this sweet looking two-tone color. We've got the kind of darker looking red and then this sort of graphite looking gray here that looks like it's almost got a little sparkle in it, so it should look pretty cool in the sun. We've got the Batrazzi Steelie Wheels and their Mud Pro X tires on here. I've got a little time in with these tires on another truck. They sent me a set and they look really good. They're just okay as far as performance goes, but pretty nice. I mean, they're better than stock, so it's pretty nice upgrade on here right away. And then we get our standard stuff that comes with the truck. This transmitter, FMS, shot themselves in the foot giving us this junk, but that's FMS. I don't know why every other truck out there is now coming with the controller with the dip switches, and we can't get the original truck that came with it to come with the dip switches, and they give us that trash. So other than that, man, this thing looks great. We've got some Batrazzi upgrades for this. They're offering this in a couple different packages, so you can select kind of what you want. So one of the upgrades I have here is the aluminum steering links. We know that is definitely needed on the FCX24. They've stiffened that up a little bit. It's better than it used to be, but it's still a weak point right out of the box. We've got some high clearance links and some aluminum oil-filled shocks. These are some pretty good shocks. They remind me of the CR18P without the big fake reservoir on them. They are aluminum oil-filled shocks, so those will be nice. And then we've got an aluminum servo horn, very much needed upgrade for this truck, so that's really cool. And then the McCue parts that we've got in here look really well. These are not just like standard off your average printer type pieces. These have got a nice finish to them. The gas can, this does swing open, so once it's mounted we can take the pin out there, it swings open, just gives it that scale look. Looks really good. It's very heavy with this wheel on the back. Probably going to take this thing, this is a full spare tire, so I'm probably going to take the center ring out of it, the foam out of it, everything I can to lighten it up at some point. And then we've got this hitch here. My plan at first, I did kind of peek at this, was to just run this. I don't want the hitch dragging on everything, but you actually have to mount this to that. I'll probably break this off or I'll cut it off or something. But you know, for a scale truck, most people want a hitch. I'm just more performance based and I'm gonna drag that on everything. But that's gonna look really good on there. So we'll get that mounted up and we'll go run this thing. I'm gonna take it over here to the bench. We'll take a little closer look at some of the details on it. This does have an interior in it. You'll never know it because the windows are so dark. I mean, I can barely see it if I look hard. That's one of my gripes, is there's no point in having the interior in there, in my opinion. I mean, I guess in the sunlight, in the right light, you'll see it, but you really can't tell it with these windows. But let's take this to the bench here. We'll talk about a couple little details, things I like, and then we'll just go run this and have some fun with it. All right, so I wanted to talk about a couple little details here really quick. You can see the print on this is very nice. So a nice finish on this. It's not just some jagged looking print. Very good looking stuff, hopefully. Should be strong. It's pretty flexible. It seems like the videos I've seen of this thing running, it flops around a decent bit, so I'm kind of curious what's up with that. That's why I'm going to go ahead and pull the foam out of this and just try to lighten this up. If it has an inner ring in it, we'll just take that out as well, because I'm not really going to use this, and I want it to be as light as possible. So It is nice that it's an actual wheel that you can use, an extra spare tire that we could use, but I'm going to lighten it up as much as I can. Quick note here, which is another positive to these wheels that I didn't mention yet. I was going to mention when I did the full video on the wheels and tires, but these do come with the brass inner rings in them. So these Steelie wheels, they're not only like the best Steelie wheels, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but they do come with the brass ring for added weight. The only thing was this one did have it in the rear as well. So in this rear tire that was mounted up, I had this brass ring, which is just adding weight way up high. Fairrc has said that that will be removed on the production models that everybody else is getting, so it won't be an issue for anybody else. That was just part of the reason why I felt like this was so heavy, is it had this brass ring inside of it. So I'm going to take that out and just find another random one somewhere, mount it up, or if this will halfway hold without it, I doubt it will, but I may just mount it up like that without one, because I'm not going to use this wheel at all. But I just wanted to throw that in there. Quick note really quick. These wheels do come with these brass rings in here, so you've got added weight down low. So we're going to get a quick weight on this on the scale once we get this installed, so you guys can know the overall weight without this ring in here. The thing I was talking about with these wheels, you can see how far apart these screws are, which allows us plenty of room to get in here to the wheel nut. The old RC four-wheel drive Steelies, you can see here, this is an FCX axle. So it's very hard to get to that wheel nut in there versus this. See the difference? A lot more room to get a tool on that wheel nut. So a very nice design on those. And you can flip the Batrazzi wheels to run them deep dish. This is the set I've been putting a little time in with, trying to get some time on these tires. And you can see I flipped them to run them deep dish. They are vented. There's a small hole right there, so you don't have to vent your tire. Very good wheel. Really the only way to go for the Steelies, in my opinion. Now, this truck does come with the rack and the lights, just like it always has. So if you want to take the cap off, you've got the rack and the lights you can put on as well. That's probably something I would like to do down the road. You can see I just prefer these as a pickup style most of the time. I get a little more performance out of it for sure that way. And I just like the looks of it. Honestly, when I got these, I didn't think I would be taking that off, but once I took it off, like on this one, I prefer that look. The only thing that I don't understand with this is this does have an interior in it, but you would never know it because you'll never see it really. Maybe in just the right light, it's like a zero depth interior, so it doesn't really have like any depth to it. It's just like a flat plate. But I mean, you're not gonna see it because the windows are so dark. So I would like to see them, I know it's quite a bit of work, but just do something like I did with this. Take the windows out, put a piece of clear here, and then you can see the interior. Because honestly, this is just adding weight that I have no clue that's in there. You will never see it. Maybe in the right sunlight, we'll see a glimpse of it, but it don't work. The tinted windows are terrible. That's one reason I definitely give Traxxas the nod on their body with this. And I'm gonna have a video on this very soon. Decided to go ahead and pick one up just because the body looked so good. And look at that, clear windows. So anyways, that's just a few little details on that. It does come with the usual standard battery here. Let's pop this off, make sure there's nothing changed here. I don't believe there is, but we do have the headlights we can plug in, and then same stuff we're used to seeing on the K5 underneath. You can see you definitely need that steering link. Just so you guys can see how clean this fits. Perfect design. The hitch does come out if you want to take that one screw right there out of it. You can take the hitch out, the drop will still be there, but be a little less likely to hang on stuff. And then this just screws onto that. Gonna look very good once we get it mounted up. All right, so you can see all I did was install this on the back, and this truck is completely squatted out in the rear. So you're definitely gonna want to either put a thick oil in the stock shocks there, because these just are dry right now, or a stiffer spring, or just get the package that comes with these shocks because these have a stiffer spring included. I'll probably put those on the rear just because this piece is fairly heavy. And you know, these things look good, but that's why I don't run stuff like this, like rarely ever, because normally even when I do like a scale-ish type truck like this, I want it to still be able to perform pretty decent, so I don't overload the rear end. But you know, it does look really good. It functions well. You can see here, very nice touch that opens up, and it's all very clean. The design is perfect. Comes off here, comes out, this screws into the rear. I did have this one screw, didn't seem like it wanted to go in too well. And then this thing is a little floppy. I'll show you what I mean here. So it's just kind of does that. You know, that'll be fine. It's not going to be getting a ton of pressure on it, but I have noticed in videos that kind of flopping around, and it just doesn't look great in my opinion. You can see just a little bumps there. It's wiggling around, but definitely got to stiffen up this rear before we can even go run this. So it's nice that we can get the package that comes with these oil shocks. We'll put a little thin oil in there and that stiffer spring, and hopefully take care of this problem. All right, so here you can see this thing is pretty well balanced without the body. It's when we go putting the body on here that this thing gets kind of crazy as far as our weight distribution goes. So with the body on, you can see we're kind of flip-flopped of what we normally want. That's just one of those things you kind of sacrifice with scale builds. We could definitely take this off. That would save a little weight in the rear. But, you know, just adding things like this to the back, it really does add that weight. Even though we have the brass rings in here, it's a lot of weight up high. So, you know, this is going to be more of a looker and scale trail truck. It's definitely not going to be a huge performer, especially with the shorter wheelbase on these. You know, that's one thing, like, again, that Traxxas, I think, did pretty well with this. By extending this out, I think we're going to get much better performance than this shorter wheelbase. But just to show you, this body is very heavy now with all of this stuff installed. The interior that we can't see, and then this rack on the back, this body is 228 grams. It's probably as much as the truck almost. 380 grams there. So having those brass rings in there definitely makes that a little heavier. So at least the truck outweighs the body, but this thing is a lot of weight. So just know this thing's going to look really good. It's not going to perform great. But again, that's a sacrifice you make for a scale trail truck. All right, so I want to cut into the video here. I did get the upgrades installed, but if you were on top of it, you may have seen my initial upload of this truck, and I was pretty unfair with it. So, you know, I apologize for uploading that and really not helping you guys see the positive side of this truck. You know, it's kind of my job, whether this is like 100% for me or not. My main goal is to let you guys know if the value is there, because if you're considering this, obviously, like, it's for you. And this honestly is a really good deal. And in my initial video, I didn't do a good job explaining that at all, because really I went to run this and I got focused on the performance side of it, which is easy to do. You know, you get kind of one track mind sometimes, and it's a little bit hard. So I just want to apologize. I took that video down because I wanted to make this video better. And hopefully you guys understand that. Sorry for wasting your time, but I wanted to get these upgrades installed, and I wanted to talk a little bit about them because there's a lot that you get with this truck. They have 3 different packages. You can do the 159, which is basically giving you all of this work that Fairrc did for the body, the paint and everything. It's basically giving you that for free because most of these trucks are in that price range anyways. So the fact that they're offering that, they're pretty much doing that work for nothing. And then they have another package for 169, I think, comes without like the rear tire rack. You already get these Steelie wheels, which like I said, these are the best Steelie wheels in my opinion, because the fit on them is great. They fit these axles perfect. Just really good wheels. They come with the brass rings, okay, which is huge. You don't have to buy the rings extra. So very good value in the wheels and tires there. And so there's a lot going on here. Or you can get the kit for $199 that comes with all of this. So you're getting the aluminum steering link, which is like 16 bucks, $15.99, whatever. You're getting the wheels that are 23 bucks. The tires are 14 bucks. The oil shocks are 30, and these are some very good oil shocks. I haven't had these leak on me. Not this set, obviously, I just installed them, but the other set that I've ran, they haven't leaked on me. Very good oil shocks. They're about the correct length where you can get some decent flex out of them. You know, obviously different chassis, you can move them around and stuff. You're getting the servo horn, which is like another 7 bucks. And by installing this, you're gaining a couple grams of weight. You're really not gaining much weight. I weighed all of this, and the links, there's a 2 or 3 gram difference between these and stock and the shocks. And then the steering link, I think there's maybe 3 or 4 grams difference in weight. But you are definitely improving your steering. You're not going to get that bow here. And then you're also doing away with that servo saver, which kind of limits your steering sometimes. You know, that thing, I'm not a big fan of servo savers. Maybe it helps your servo last a little longer, but still, you're improving steering by doing that for sure. So, and then you got the high clearance links, which are like another 17 bucks. So the total of all of this stuff that you're getting as an upgrade for $199, all of this, it's pretty crazy, because this truck alone's $159 or whatever. And all of these upgrades they total up to over $100, like 107 bucks or something. And then if you had shipping, I mean, just depends. But so the fact that they're giving all of this is, for the price, is pretty amazing. And it really does give you an opportunity to get all of these things at a very reduced cost. So that is why I kind of wanted to redo this and really talk about the bonus side of this thing, the good of it, because for me, the performance wasn't great. Honestly, I would just go ahead and get the brass C-hubs here and some brass portal covers, inner and outer, more than likely, to get some weight in the front, because this thing really struggles with all of this weight up top. Now, you could obviously go remove this, pull the cap off. The interior that you don't see, you know, it's a pretty good sized piece. So I haven't removed that to see what it weighs, but it's a lot of weight up there that we're really not using, in my opinion. So if you really want to make this a performer, it's a great way to start, because you can pick up some brass for it. You know, it may not even hurt to get the brass outer covers or something for the rear portals as well. Just getting more weight down low if you plan on keeping all of this scale accessories on it. For me, you know, that's the beauty of it. I can pick this up for 200 bucks and just pull this off, really, and the cap, and probably be pretty good. I can clear the windows like I like. Already got the interior in there ready to go. So it works both ways. You know, if you want it scale just like it is, maybe plan on adding some weight. Otherwise, if you're like me and you want to make it perform, just remove a couple things. You know, maybe you can put this rack on another one, whatever. You could leave it on here, take this cap off, clear the windows. That's going to get rid of a little bit of weight with those windows. And you've already got the interior in there, whatever. You can go so many ways with it. And I really just didn't do a good job of explaining that on the initial video of this. So now that we've got all these upgrades installed, I did do a little thicker oil in the rear here. I have like a 20 weight in there now, whereas I usually try to do like a 10 or something. And then I did do the stiffer springs, so we're not sagging the rear end when we put this body on there like we were. And I think hopefully it's going to perform a little better. I think we're still going to need a lot of weight up front if we plan on leaving all of this stuff. But I want to see how it runs. So let's take this out, give it a fair shot, and see how it does.
Okay, the first thing you're gonna wanna do as soon as you start to go crawl, you're gonna notice you have forward, brake, then reverse. That is super annoying on a crawler. Since FMS gives us this junk controller now, you have to double tap your reverse, the light will start flashing, then hit your bind button. Now you should have forward to brake, or forward to reverse. All right, that way if you start to loop out, you can hit your reverse quick. You're not hitting a brake. To exit that, just double tap your reverse and you're good. Now we're ready to crawl. And as you can see, you're never gonna see that interior.
So I just went ahead and removed the windows and the windshield. I will glue in a clear piece later. I got some very thin, like clear stuff that I can link in the description that I use for the windshields on these, but I'll have to cut it and glue it in place, that sort of thing. So I went ahead and pulled that out so we could see the interior and really enjoy this interior, because it really looks good. And, you know, with the tinted windows, you can't see it at all. So I just took those out. It shaved a little bit of weight. This thing still, as you can see, just really struggles trying to go uphill on anything. And that's really just because the weight is all out of whack at the moment. You know, that's where we need some brass in the front, honestly. You need some brass C-hubs and inner and outer portal covers is what I would recommend for that front. The good thing is it downhills really well with that tire on the back, you know, so it a lot of times I know the Power Wagon, we all know, like, it didn't downhill well at all because they had the cab on the front, like no weight in the back. So, you know, you kind of got to pick your poison. If you want to go with the Way Cool looks like it is here, you know, you're going to lose a little performance. But the core underneath of this is such a value. Like, you can pick it up for the $200. Like, honestly, if I was going to buy it, I'd probably just do that, because you're getting so much value there. You're getting all the key upgrades, the high clearance links and the steering links that are a must, servo horn, and then the oil-filled shocks. These, like I said, these are some of the best oil-filled shocks. So you're getting all that stuff for a crazy deal. So take it and remove a couple things. Remove the back gate and the cap on the back if you really want a lot of performance. Or if you just want it to look really cool, remove the windows, in my opinion, and put you anything on the windshield, and it's going to look killer. I mean, this thing looks insane, and the detail, the interior, like, it looks really good now that we can see it. So I really love the looks of this. I love the black wheels, the black, or, you know, the tires. They look really good and meaty on it. So it's a great looking truck. Just as you can see here, I could not get this to go uphill at all. So just know you're going to need a little more weight in the front, or remove a couple things on the rear if you really want more performance. But overall, the value is insane for it. Like I said, at the $159 price, they're basically giving you the work they did on the body, and then you can just go from there, pick your package, you know. And that's cool that they offer it that way as well, because a lot of times we just get what we get, you know. So they're kind of letting you choose the upgrade you want and giving you a steal of a deal on them, in my opinion. And then really, once you factor in the core truck underneath this is really good. The stock electronics on the FCX are great. The slow crawl is really good. You have the 2-speed transmission with lots of wheel speed, which is a lot of fun trailing along, which is what this will be great at. I could see me having a lot of fun with this at the creek. It's going to look amazing once I get my windshield in there. And so, and the servo's strong, you know. So the truck underneath is really good. I've always been a big fan of the FCX since it released, just because they are a good value. There's good electronics there. The truck's good. We've got a lot of upgrades for them now. And anything that you buy, you're really going to have to upgrade. It's not very often we get something like this where, honestly, to make this perform better, at this point, we're just going to take things off, you know, instead of buying stuff. So it's kind of like backwards when you think about it.
you know, normally we have to look at, well, I need shocks. I'd like some high clearance links, the FCX, I need steering links. It's all there. So it's kind of like flip flop, you know, to get more performance, you can just remove some parts and probably do much better. Or if you want to keep it looking like it is, I would just add some weight. And so for me, you know, it's a great way to start for anybody. There's a lot of stuff coming out now around the $200 price range, and this is just another great option in my opinion. I'm going to compare this more to the Traxxas High Trail at a later point. I had originally included a couple clips in here with the two because the High Trail kind of walked up some lines where this really struggled. But to be fair, this is set up more of a Blazer, whereas that's a pickup. And, you know, we've got the rack on the back and that sort of thing. So it's not really fair to compare those two. They're not the same exact style truck, I guess you would say. Now, if I remove this rack off the back and the cap off of here, and this has already got all of these upgrades, then maybe we can compare them a little bit. But still, even at that, you're at almost the same price. And the Traxxas, the electronics in that thing are terrible. So you know, they force you to buy the crawler gears basically because it's geared too high out of the box. It crawls like garbage. And then you change the gears and you don't have much wheel speed. So you get the 2-speed in this, which is very nice. So, I mean, you know, it's a good time to be in this hobby because there is so many options now, and that's very cool. You know, pick what you want. Like, I'm not really loyal to any brand, so if I like it, I like it. And, you know, I've been hard on Traxxas in the past, and I'm really not a big Traxxas crawler fan at all. I've never owned a 10 scale, probably won't. I don't know, you know, Traxxas crawler, that is. But I think they did pretty good with the High Trail. I wish they'd have did something with the gearing or something like that, but I like that they decided to go with that body and extended it, knowing that it was going to need it, you know, whereas FMS kind of gave us the same wheelbase, and this kind of looks a little scrunched up, you know. But these are some really good looking trucks overall, and they're a great truck underneath. And this one right here just adds to the value that you're getting with an FCX. So you guys let me know what you think about this. I appreciate you watching and sticking around and me blabbing and going back and forth, you know. I apologize for the first upload not being what it should have been, but I don't care to admit I'm wrong or I need to be better. I can always get better. So I try my best, and hopefully this one shows the positive and the negative, you know, because that's really what I'm here to do. So you guys let me know what you think about it, and I appreciate you. If you watch this again, like, you're insane. You're the best. I mean, just absolute best. If you're watching it this far in the first time, like, you're right there as well. So thank you guys for sticking around. As always, I appreciate you so much. I'll link a bunch of stuff in the description. If you want to buy from there, that's cool. It helps out the channel. If not, like, it doesn't matter to me. You know, like, I'm just here to do what I do. I'm having fun playing with RCs, and I hope you guys get something out of it. So I appreciate everybody. Peace.